All right. I need to be sure that, there is something impressive about the person who's doing a personality development session. So, yes, all of that greatly matters. The attitude, the way you communicate with others. And yes, it's an ocean. Like I told you, it's an ocean. And then I didn't want to have a presentation which looked very basic. I didn't want to tell you how to dress. I didn't want to tell you how to talk. I didn't want to. That will slowly come as you evolve in your life and as you evolve in your careers. So, and I have just 90 minutes, and in 90 minutes, it's a challenge to be kind of uh, teaching you and putting you in a space or trying to mold and transform you in those 90 minutes is very, very difficult. So I was thinking that there are so many things that we know that we're supposed to dress well. And when we observe, uh, like we had somebody who said that observe more and talk less. If you observe a little more and we pay close attention to what we need to wear, what kind of personalities we have, what kind of clothes would suit us, when if we do a little research, I think we'll get a hang of that. But then there are quite a number of things that make the personality. So I thought, okay, let me give you things which you may not be aware of, and that will make the difference in today's session. There could be things you already know, all right, and maybe at the end of the session you can tell me what is it that you learned different. What was different in today's session? What is that one learning that you're taking back home today? I would want you to tell me that. Let's move on. You can probably you can tell me if you can. You're able to see my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen? You can just unmute yourself and tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. So this is here. We start with what are the key strategies to develop yourself, to boost your confidence, and to ensure that you grow in life. Let me tell you, I'm doing this session for you today, but then it will take you another. I'm still evolving. My personality is still not completely developed. Tomorrow, I want to be a better person. Tomorrow, I want to sound different. I want to look different. I want to be a better person tomorrow. So, your personality develops till the time you are alive, till the time you meet people, till the time you're connecting with people, you are interacting with people, you're going out for a job. Your personality evolves on a daily basis. So I cannot say I have already developed a personality and I stop there. I don't. I'm waiting for tomorrow. This is me today in front of you. But then I have a tomorrow, and then whatever I'm going to learn from my experience today with you, tomorrow, the same session, I may deliver it in a different style. I may deliver it in a different way, because that is my learning that I take forward. And that is how I would say that today's experience has, or rather, today's experience with you has added to my another one experience and has made me a better person tomorrow. So, yeah, what is my mission? My mission is I want to ensure that everybody is growing, and I inspire excellence. So there should be, whatever you do, you should feel inspired about whatever you're doing, and whatever you're doing, you should do that excellently. So I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the many people who have inspired me in the past. And whatever I do, I ensure that I do it very, very well. I do it efficiently. I do it in an excellent manner. And I ensure that I am empowering people around me. I'm empowering people to ensure that their lives are transformed and they have better lives ahead. They have beautiful lives ahead. And this is this one little mission that my mission that I can talk of. So, what is personality development? You did give me your definitions, and then again, this is a very common, I would say, a very, very common, a very, I would say, a boring definition where I'm saying personality development refers to a process where you are enhancing your qualities, your skills, your behavior, and at the same time your character. So this is something that's picked up from from the internet, or a place where which is giving you content, and I've just placed it there. But this is not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a session where at the end of the session you should be able to say that we will incorporate all that we heard today to ensure that tomorrow we are definitely better people. Why do you think personality development matters? Is because your personality somewhere impacts your relationships, it impacts your career, and it impacts your personal well-being. So why am I doing all of this? So that I am a better representation of myself to people who I meet. I am definitely a better person, and definitely a better person when it comes to my relationships with people, when it comes to my career. Today, I am at this position. Tomorrow, I may want to grow and be promoted and get. Be better placed in life. So that is why this personality development is important. And when we talk about personality development, I did not see you write words like self-awareness. Personality development is somewhere where your self-awareness is important, where your emotional intelligence is important. I did not see these words coming up. So it becomes very, very important for me to bring these elements into today's discussion as to why you need to be self-aware. When you are aware of your strengths and when you are aware of your weaknesses, you will be able to be a better person tomorrow. What works for me, I should know, and what does not work for me, I should know. And emotional intelligence, I will look into emotional intelligence a little later. I'll ask you what you understand by emotional intelligence, and then we will get into that. So emotional intelligence also plays a very, very important part in personality development, where you keep a control over your emotions. So that we will look at later. Now, this gentleman, I'm sure you would know that he's Steve Jobs. I picked him up, all right. I picked him up because I have a little story to tell you about him. You know that he is the founder of Apple. He is often remembered as a visionary who has transformed multiple industries. When you look at your personal computing to entertainment, he has given us groundbreaking products like the iPhone, he's given us the iPad, he's given us the Macintosh. But however, he had a very demanding leadership style. His leadership style has been very, very demanding, and that makes him a controversial figure. His behavior has been seen to be a little harsh sometimes, but then he had belief in his ideas, and he was able to instill confidence in his team. And that is why today we have Apple, which is one of the most popular products in the field of IT. So he had people, he had a team around him who worked for him. And one example that I can give you about Steve Jobs is the original iPhone. All of us dream to have an iPhone. Earlier it was a luxury. Today it has become, I would say, a necessity. I see everybody carrying an iPhone in their pockets today. So he had a very bold vision. He had a bold vision of combining a phone, a music player, and an internet communicator. So you should be able to carry a laptop, you should be able to carry a music player, and you should be able to carry a phone in your pocket, but all clubbed into one instrument, so into one single device. Many people around him, including the engineers and the designers, initially thought that this man is stupid. This man does not understand that he cannot club all these three things together and make a single device, and it looked very, very impractical to them. But then Steve Jobs, his faith was unshakable. He had unshakable confidence in his idea, and he pushed his ideas forward without compromising on most of his principles. He had his core principles, and he refused to compromise on those principles. And today he has created something that has changed the world around us. So, whenever people came to him, and whenever people told him his team would come up with something, he was never shy to criticize people for their work if it did not meet high standards. He always believed in high standards, and whenever it was not good, he would say it's not good enough, and he would push the team, and he would say, go ahead and make something that looks sleeker, make something that is a more refined version. So every time his engineers and designers would come up with a product, he would always ask them to go back, change it and bring a better version. So today, when we look at Steve Jobs, we can say that not many people liked him because he was a very, very aggressive, demanding leader. But then he says that what is important is believing in your vision. You need to believe in your vision. And his confidence was just not in his ideas. He definitely had confidence in his ideas, but it was just not in his ideas. It was in the ability of his team to bring those ideas to life. He believed in the capability of his team. And today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world. And even if he had to face criticism, that was okay for him. But today, when you look at Apple is one of those products that is equal to luxury, that is equal to style, that is equal to status, that is equal to a necessity. It is Apple has become a necessity today. So that's about Steve Jobs. I will give you three mini stories, and then I will connect all these stories to why it is important to have personality development in your life. Now, who do you think this is? I'm sure you would know who the person is. Who is this? If you can unmute yourself and tell me.
Oprah,
Sorry, little louder.
Oprah,
Yes, this is Oprah. All right. And for her, I say the role of confidence in success. All right. What role does confidence play if you have to be successful? So there are many people like this. I randomly just picked up three people because when we're talking about personality development, we'll have to look at some personalities. I've started with Steve Jobs. I would like to talk about Oprah Winfrey. Because she is one of the most successful media muggles in all time. But when she started off, she had really big setbacks in her career. There was a time when she was about 23 years of age when she was fired from her job. The reason was she was not fit for television. Her boss told her, "You are not fit for television, and hence I am firing you." She was fired. She was fired from her job, saying that she was not fit for television. And the rejection came down crushing upon her because she had always dreamed of being on TV. But instead of letting the setback define her, what did she do? She was determined, and she refused to believe that her dream was over. They said, "Go back home. Go back home. You're not meant for TV." So she went back home, and then she said, "I will not allow my dream to remain unfulfilled. I will ensure that I would come back. I would come back and I would punch them all in the face and say that I was meant for television." So, in an interview, she has told us, in one of her interviews, she says that somebody told her, her boss told her, that she was not fit for TV, and that was one of her hardest moments in life. She says, "I was devastated. I felt that I was completely worthless." And very soon she realized, she started picking herself up. She said that rejection should not be able to define me, but then it should take me to the next step. I'll give you a little story about what she did later on. She went back to a local TV station in Chicago, and she did a morning show called AM Chicago. It was a low-rated show. It was a very, very low-rated show. She did that AM Chicago, but then the show also had very, very low viewership. It did not have a lot of viewers, but then she believed in herself. She believed that she could do it. And that is when she focused on being authentic. She focused on engaging with her audience on a personal level. That's where her emotional intelligence, her ability to connect with people, helped her to shine through. So I'm giving you the story in just a few words, and that's where eventually Oprah's show was renamed the Oprah Winfrey Show, where it quickly gained massive popularity. So she's done candid interviews with celebrities. Candid is she does not prepare, she just goes there, sits there, and randomly just asks questions to celebrities. Probably the celebrities will have to come prepared for her questions, but she would just do candid shows with celebrities, leaders, and everyday people, who she would meet. And today she is a cultural icon, where her show has become the highest rated talk show in the television in America, the American television history. It has become the most popular show. So when what does Winfrey's story teaches us, that success is not about avoiding failure. Success is not about avoiding failure, but you should know how to handle that failure. You should be able to commit yourself to your dreams. You should be able to turn your obstacles into stepping stones. We always say that a failure is a stepping stone to success, where she has created an unparalleled legacy in the media world for herself. So that is the story of Oprah Winfrey, uh, to start off with personality development. The next one. Who do you think this gentleman is? Anybody from
Warren Buffett.
yeah, Warren Buffett? So anybody from the field of investments, anybody from the field of stocks, shares, stock trading, all of that. Warren Buffett, he is one of the most successful investors in history.
Founder
And
of KFC, ma'am.
yes. Uh, so, what are we going to talk about here? Why am I going to talk about Warren Buffett? Is self awareness. I am going to talk about to become successful. The first step to your growth is build your self awareness. Understand who you are, what your strengths are, what your limitations are, what can you do well, what you cannot do well, what should you avoid, what should you do immediately. And that is very, very important. Let me talk to you about his self-awareness. Warren Buffett's self-awareness is the first step is he understands his limitations. While there were many investors who were chasing the latest trends, all right, and they were acting very, very impulsively based on the market fluctuations, Buffet has always been known for his calm, disciplined approach. He does not do things in a hurry. He takes time. He takes time to decide. He does not invest in businesses that he does not understand. There are a lot of things that you and I may not be understanding. As when we want to invest in business, we should be able to understand that business very, very well. Just because I have the money tomorrow, I cannot go and start a hotel industry. I cannot go and invest in a hotel industry. Or for that matter, just because I have the money, I may just not go and start off an automobile industry. I may not want to invest in an automobile industry. Or for that matter, whatever is catching up today, just because I have the money, I should not be going and investing there, because I should know the business first completely. So he was once a gentleman who was never swayed, or he was never, there was no kind of external pressure that forced him to invest in places where other people were investing. He did not follow the crowd. He went by what his heart and mind told him to do. So he stays true to his own criteria when making investments. He says, in his own words, if I can recall what he says, the stock market is filled with individuals who know the price of everything, but they know the value of nothing. I'll repeat this. The stock market is filled with individuals who know the price of everything, but they know the value of nothing. So these are basically fools. They know the price of everything, but they don't know the value of it. I can give you examples from his life where uh, I can give you a significant example of his self-awareness, which came during the 2008 financial crisis. While many investors were selling their stocks, they were selling off their stocks because there was an economic collapse that they were thinking that was going to come up in 2008, that there was an economic collapse that was about to happen. But then what did Buffett do at that time? He started buying shares. He started buying shares in strong companies at discounted prices. Everybody was selling off their shares, but then he started buying shares. He started buying shares, and where everybody could see only danger, he could see opportunities. And this was his self awareness. And he knew that whatever he was doing it right. So he's made a significant investment in General Electric, that is GE, the company called GE, and Goldman Sachs during the height of the crisis, where and trusting these companies will recover in the long run. He had faith in Goldman Sachs, he had faith in General Electric, and he thought, or rather, um, he knew that these companies will recover in the long run. His patience paid off, and today these companies have given him very, very high returns. So this is one example of him having great self awareness about he was self aware. He knew when to pull back, and whenever he would make a mistake, he would admit his mistake. I can give you another example where he openly discussed his mistakes when he purchased the Dexter Shoe Company. He purchased a Dexter Shoe Company, which was a massive loss. So whenever he made a mistake, he would confess, he would admit that he made a mistake. Instead of allowing these failures to shake his confidence, he would treat them as learning experiences and move on, and that he would never allow any of these failures to cloud his judgment in his future decisions. So, if we actually look at Warren Buffett's self awareness, that has been a cornerstone of his success. So, he understands his deep tendencies, he understands his strengths, he understands his emotional triggers, he knows how to make those sound decisions. He remains patient. All right. Sometimes, we buy something and immediately, or we do something and immediately we want a result. But then sometimes you will have to wait for it patiently. You will have to wait for the fruits patiently. He's remained patient, and he has avoided many, many pitfalls that investors can face on a daily basis. So it's very, very important that when it comes to your self awareness, it's very important that you know yourself. You should know what you're good at. You should acknowledge your weaknesses. You should understand what your weaknesses are, and you should remain emotionally balanced. You should not allow your emotions to sway based on whatever people are telling you. Sometimes it's not always good to follow the crowd. They may be going in the wrong direction, and it's very, very essential to make this rational, thoughtful decisions, both when you are investing, and both not only in whenever you're doing investments, but also when you're investing all of this in your life. The self awareness plays a very important role when it comes to your personality development. So starting here is um, these are the three little short stories that I told you when I spoke to you about Steve Jobs. I told you that his leadership was a little demanding, he was a little aggressive, but then he believed in his vision, he believed in his ideas, he believed in whatever he was doing. Oprah Winfrey, again, somebody who was told that she did not was not fit for television, went back to television, and today she is a cultural icon, and you see her in she's made a place for herself in the industry of American television. So we've seen her. And then why have I given you an example of Warren Buffett is for his self awareness when it comes to his field of to the field of investments, the kind of patience he's had when it has come to whatever he has done for his career. So now, what are we going to discuss in the next 1 hour are the prerequisites for success. What is it that we need? I did not, when I asked you what does personality development mean to you, all of you gave me all different answers. All of them were right. All of them were correct. And all of that is what we require for personality development to ensure that our personalities are developed. But here are the few prerequisites that you and I need to look into, and we need to start building on these factors right away to ensure that we have a successful life ahead of us. And let me tell you, as soon as I finish this session, you're not going to become successful. As soon as I finish the session, your personality will not be developed. As soon as I finish the session, you will not be able to say that you cannot go and stand in front of the mirror and say, I don't see a change in myself. But then whatever you learn from today's session, you will slowly start incorporating it in your life, and then you will start seeing the changes. This session is like a pill, all right, is like an injection. It will, like Warren Buffett remained patient. You will have to remain patient to ensure to take the learnings from today's session and incorporate it in your life ahead. So the first thing is effective communication. You need to be an effective communicator. I will tell you how the power of words and actions play an important role when it comes to being successful. The second one is emotional intelligence. How does emotional intelligence play an important role when it comes to your personal and professional growth? I'm just not looking at professional growth here. I'm just not looking at promotions here at office. I want to personally grow as well. I want to be a better daughter. I want to be a better sister. I want to be a better teacher. Teacher, of course, yes, in the professional life. Personal, when it comes to my personal growth, I definitely want to be a better human being when it comes to handling my emotions. I would definitely want to be a little more empathetic towards my maid. I would want to be a little more kind towards people I meet. I may want to connect at a more nicer level when I meet strangers for the first time. So all of that, I need that emotional intelligence. At the professional level, I may want to be a better leader. I may want to connect with people at a much different level where they turn around and say that Shazia ma'am is approachable, she is accessible, she is nice to talk to, and the way in which she handles people around her, that is something that is commendable and remarkable. I want that for myself, and for that I have to develop my emotional intelligence. There's something one of the prerequisites for success is I have to overcome my challenges. I have to overcome my setbacks. I have challenges. I have my daily challenges in life. I have my daily setbacks on a daily basis. I may be having them, but only if I overcome them, I will be able to reach success. Time management. How do I make the most of my day? I will teach you how to make the most of your day in just 2 slides, but then it will make sense. Networking and building relationships. Networking is very, very important. When this particular session was advertised, it says, how do you do your personal branding? How do you network? How do you do your personal branding? And how is that building relationships important for you to be successful? And yes, it's very important that you set goals for your personal and professional growth. Without a goal, I may not know where to go. Without a goal, I may not know how to move forward in life. So that goal becomes very important. So we'll pick up the first thing: communication. Communication is the key to success. All right. So we all know this. If you are able to communicate well, you will be able to see that everything works out for you in the right way, because your communication is flawless. When I say flawless, there are no misunderstandings. There is everything is clear, everything is concise, and there will be nobody who will turn around and say, you made a bad comment, or you made a wrong comment, or you I did not understand what you said. So communication plays a very important role when it comes to your success. So I'm not going to teach you how to talk, all right? I'm not going to tell you you're supposed to talk this way. This is how you communicate. These are the words. I'm not going to teach you vocabulary. I'm not going to teach you how to communicate, what to do. But there are certain things in communication that you need to pay close attention to. The power of silence. Let's look at the power of silence. Embrace pauses. You need to pause as you talk. You need to pause. Sometimes in the middle of the session, I may stop and I may ask you, that's where I may pause. I may give, there may be a moment of silence where we think back on all that we have learned. We reflect on everything that we have shared, and then I embrace that pause. And when I embrace that pause, I'm giving you time to recollect, come back to me and tell me that yes, we've understood. So silence can be one of the most powerful tools in communication. Don't be afraid of pauses in a conversation. A brief moment of silence allows both the parties to reflect, process information, and collect their thoughts. So why does the silent works? It Research shows that people tend to listen more when there is a pause. All right, so if I'm going to pause now, You will wonder, why did ma'am pause? Silence will give your words more weight, and it will create a space for reflection. So you need to allow these pauses to be there in your conversation. Otherwise, you'll keep rambling, sentence after sentence after sentence, sentence after sentence. And when you talk sentence after sentence without any pauses, there could be a misunderstanding, or people may not be able to connect to what you are saying. So the silence or those pauses are very, very important. If I have to give you an expert insight, silence is a source of great strength. So silence is very, very important. And when answering a question, pause before responding. Somebody asks you a question: what did you have for lunch? Immediately just do not jump and say, no, I have to say I had biryani, otherwise what he or she would think about me. When answering a question, pause for a little bit before you respond. This gives you a little moment to ensure that your response is well thought of, it is well considered, instead of rushing into an answer. So that is the actionable tip that I have given you. So we've looked at the power of silence. The next one, the 3 second rule for non-verbal cues. The 3 second rule. What is the 3 second rule? When you enter a room or you meet somebody new for the first time, focus on making eye contact for at least 3 seconds. This will show that you are engaged with the person. This shows that you are confident. This shows your respect, and this shows that you are attentive. You may would have noticed, if you have noticed, if you would have not noticed, I may want to bring to your attention that as I am doing the session, I am looking into the camera. I am making that eye contact. Why am I making the eye contact? Is for the confidence, for the respect. I know that there are people on the other side of the room, there are people on the other side of this laptop, and to show that yes, that I am involved in whatever I am doing with you. So that here again, I'm talking about the 3 second rule. When you meet somebody, ensure that you give them that 3 second eye contact. Yet again, I'm telling you, the eye contact should happen without staring. It should be a natural eye contact where you are creating an immediate bond. You signal that you are fully present and you are listening. Eye contact is the first thing people notice, and it is the first impression that counts. Tony Robbins says that the 3 second rule for eye contact is very, very important. How do you do this? Practice maintaining good eye contact in casual conversations and meetings. Watch how it changes the dynamics of your interactions. As you talk, when you look at people in the eye, your confidence will increase, your communication will increase. You will be definitely, there will be a transformation in the way in which your personality will evolve. So remember this, the 3 second rule for that eye contact is very, very important. The next one is the power of the name technique. Use people's names when you talk to them. All right. So when Prachi said good morning, good evening to me, I said, good evening, Prachi. Prachi's voice was what I heard when I opened the session today. So she said, good evening, ma'am. And I could have just said good evening. But then when Prachi's name popped onto the main screen, I knew that it was Prachi who was wishing me. And I said, good evening, Prachi. That is the power of the name. When you talk to people, use their names. A lot of students, as they wish me when I walk into the corridors in my institution, when they wish me and I know their names, I may just they may say good morning, ma'am. I wish them back and I say good morning, Ananya. I just don't say good morning. If I know the name, if I can recollect the name at that particular time, I use names. I may say good morning, Anushka. Good evening, Jabir. So I may use those names in the conversation, but don't overdo it, because what happens is, yes, when they hear their name, there is a very positive reaction, there is a very positive emotional response. The other person feels valued, it creates a sense of intimacy, it creates a sense of respect, and it sounds very polite and effective. It's not only polite, but it sounds very effective. If I have to give you what Dale Carnegie says, he says a person's name is the sweetest sound in any language. I'm sure Prachi would have felt very nice. I'm not a celebrity on the other side of the room here. And if I take her name, that she would feel nice. But then, yes, when she has heard her name, she would absolutely agree and say, yes, ma'am, I did feel nice when you mentioned my name after you said good evening. In a meeting or a casual conversation, try using people's names for that personal connection. I appreciate your perspective, John. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it? And then mention the name of the person, and the person would feel nice. So that is the power of the name. This is instead of teaching you how to communicate, I'm telling you in conversations what is it that you can do differently so that slowly, you stand out, your personality stands out, and then people start seeing you, people start respecting you, people start recognizing you for the different person that you are. So one is the power of the name technique. The other one is the 3-minute window for effective conversations. You should be able to, when you start a conversation, you should be able to let the other person know that in those first 3 minutes, you should let the person know what are you there for? What are you going to talk about? There could be people who would start talking to you but would never come to the point. And then you say, don't beat around the bush, come to the point immediately and tell me what is it that you want to tell me. So you only have the 3-minute window for effective conversations. You get the first 3 minutes for a conversation or for a meeting to start. People's attention spans are very limited. I may not be able to engage you for more than 20 minutes. Each one of you has a 20-minute window. You listen to me for 20 minutes, then for 5 minutes your mind will wander here and there, and then again you would come back to me and then listen to me for the next 20 minutes. Again your mind wanders here and there for the next 10 minutes, and then you come back again. So that is how people's attention spans are. And so to ensure that they do not get diverted, you use the first 3 minutes to tell them what you're going to talk about, because the most important part of any conversation is the first 3 minutes where the core message is delivered. So an actionable tip that I can give you is start by summarizing your key message before getting into the details. So just before I got into the details of the session, in those first few minutes I did tell you what is it that we would be doing when it comes to today's session. So this ensures that your audience would grasp the core point and would stay with you and would be able to connect whatever you've said in those 3 minutes. They would connect those 3 minutes to the 1 hour of discussion that you would have a little later with them. The power of active body language. Here again, when I'm talking about body language, ensure that you have open palms. If I would have been in a face-to-face session with you, you would see me using my palms. I would not cross my arms. I would not cross my arms around my chest. And when you talk to people, when somebody's talking to you, that little leaning forward, when you lean forward and listen to them, it shows that you are interested and it shows that you are trustworthy. So the power of active body language is very, very important. It shows that you are approachable. It shows that your gestures are positive. It helps down to break it. It helps to foster collaboration, and whenever required, it helps to build that trust, and it helps to build that connect with the person you are responding to. Body language speaks louder than words. What you say can be forgotten, but how you make others feel will always be remembered. That is said by Maya Angelou. One of these actionable tips that I can give you is, in your next conversation, ensure that you have open gestures. Avoid folding your arms, avoid leaning back too much, which can signal disinterest. And again, when you're when you're in a meeting, do not sit on the edge of your chair. It looks like as if you're just waiting for the bell to go and you're about to run off. Sit comfortably, sit with your back to the chair, sit with your back straight, and that is active or positive body language. So as somebody is talking, don't keep looking at your watch, because you are trying to tell the person that your time is important, but that speech is not. So all these gestures, all these, you are not verbally telling him that. But then suppose you are in a session with me and you actively keep looking at your watch, frequently keep looking at your watch, I will get the information, I will get the signal that you're kind of getting bored, or rather your time is more important than whatever I'm talking. And then that's actually not nice. So the power of active body language plays a very important role in your communication. A bonus tip that I can give you when it comes to communication is speak less, say more. Like one of our participants said, speak less, observe more. All right. So here it is, aim to say more with few words. Ensure that you are very selective with your language. Avoid using filler words. Do not give too many explanations. Ensure that your words are impactful. Ensure that your audience remembers whatever you say. The most eloquent speech is one where words are used sparingly and purposefully. So ensure that your words, you don't repeat your words and bore people out. So before speaking, pause and think, what is most concise? What is the most powerful way in which I can communicate this message? So that is to do with your communication. If it has to be your communication, this is what I would like to tell you about. I'm moving to the next portion of my presentation, which is emotional intelligence. At this particular point, I may want to know if you are with me and if you are listening. Are you there, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you're there. All right. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's go back. Let's go back to emotional intelligence, and let me understand if you. Okay, one second. Let me see if you know what do you understand by emotional intelligence? What do you understand by emotional intelligence? If I can get a few responses from you, what do you understand by emotional intelligence? Let me just look at the responses. Emotional intelligence, anybody? Gaurav, you want me to use Hindi somewhere sometime? Okay. How to react emotionally depending upon the situation. Okay, if I have to define emotional intelligence is the ability to understand your emotions and at the same time understand emotions of other people, handle your emotions and at the same time handle other people's emotions. A lot of people, my team, if I have to talk about my team may walk into my room. All right, they may walk, yeah, they may walk into my room and then they may have something, something that's not very nice to hear. They may have an unpleasant situation to discuss, and somebody somebody feels a little upset and she starts crying. So I should be able to handle those emotions, and at the same time I should be able to handle my emotions also. Just I'm sitting there, I listen to the person who gives me the story or who tells me her experience or his experience. When that person starts crying, I should be able to handle my emotions. And, as a leader, it's, it is not advisable or it is not right. Uh, the person is coming and sharing um, you know, her story with me and sure to see if she can get some empathy. All right, to get that little support, moral support. But then I should know how to handle my emotions and help her out in it. And when to see her crying, I should, yes, of course, yes, tears can be contagious, but I should not be crying along with her. So that is emotional intelligence, where you are able to handle your emotions intelligently. You are able to react, or rather you're able to respond to your emotions in the right way. I see a lot of good responses coming up in the chat there, where you're giving me very good responses to what emotional intelligence means, how we behave in a particular situation, recognizing emotions, how to react in certain situations, depending on the situation, etc. So you are giving me quite a number of good uh, definitions there, where you manage your emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. So yes, to be strong and to handle those emotions. So that is emotional intelligence, and intelligence plays a very important role when it comes to your personal and professional life. So moving forward, again, I will not teach you that. If I have to deal with emotional intelligence, I can talk about emotional intelligence for hours together. All right, so now I'm going to give you those few little hints how to emotionally regulate yourself. I'm sure you know what a regulator is. There is a regulator for a gas cylinder. There is a regulator for the fan, where you increase and decrease the speed of the fan, the air that comes for you. So the remote control of your emotions is in your hand. You cannot give that remote control in anybody else's hand. It's not like somebody keeps a remote control in their hand and presses the button and says, Shazia cry, Shazia will cry. Press the button that say, Shazia laugh, Shazia will laugh. Press the button that say, Shazia dance, Shazia will dance. No, that remote control has to be in your hand. The remote control of your emotions has to be in your hand, and you should be able to regulate your emotions so very intelligently that there should be no scope, or there should be no space for any regrets. I'm going to tell you the 2 minute rule for emotional regulation. When you feel that you're experiencing a very strong emotion, it can be anger or it can be stress, give yourself a 2 minute window before you react. Somebody is provoking you, somebody is telling you something which is very nasty. Give yourself that 2 minute window before you react. Use this time to breathe. Use this time to step away, and use this time to distract yourself with something that is neutral. They're doing it purposely to provoke you, to make you angry. So, at that particular time, if you're going to lose your temper, you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad, unpleasant moment with the person. So, use this time to breathe, use this time to step away. If you think it's getting a little too much, just quietly move away from that place, or just start breathing, and do not react to it at all. There will come a time when you will get an opportunity to respond to whatever is being said. So, this brief pause of this 2 minute will give your emotional brain to calm down. It's not easy. It's not easy. Just because I just have these 90 minutes, all I can do is I can just talk about it just for about a minute or two. But then it has taken me about say it has taken me about 10 years to emotionally regulate myself. Today, it's very difficult for you to trigger me off and make me angry. All right, my I have programmed myself, and I have emotionally regulated myself so very strongly that I can remain calm even when you are trying to provoke me, and trying to make me very very angry, because now I have developed that emotional intelligence which is very very high. I would not be negatively impacted by whatever is happening around me. And that is how my brain functions right now. No emotional reactions from anything that is impacting me, that comes from the external world. All right. So your emotions are like your body's warning system. Give them time to calm down so that you can respond effectively. I usually give myself a little time. I give myself a little time to process whatever is happening. And then if I'm going to react, or if I'm going to react to it, it's going to have devastating effects, devastating consequences, which I do not want. So I give myself a little time, calm down a little bit, and sometimes I may even ignore, forget, and keep moving on, because life has so many much more beautiful things to do. So I'm not usually I usually don't get carried away by things that happen around me, and then things which are triggering me for the wrong reasons. So, actionable tip is set a timer on your phone for 2 minutes, and during this time, breathe, go for a short walk. If you think you would like to listen to a little music, whatever that makes you, go and drink some water if you think that's making you angry. So, ensure that that emotion should not allow you to take off in such a way that you regret later. You should be able to get that emotional control. So, that is the 2 minute rule for emotional regulation. The next one is empathy mapping. Empathy mapping is for deeper connections. So, all this is important for personality development. When you connect with people, when you connect with people, people will start loving you because you have that empathy. People will start connecting with you because, somewhere they feel connected with you. So, that empathy is very, very important to be a good human being. So, to truly connect with others emotionally, use empathy mapping. I'm teaching you the empathy mapping today. This involves putting yourself in the other person's shoes and focusing on what they think, how they feel, how what they see, and what they are doing, and then asking, what do they need from me in this moment? Like I tell you, there are people who come to me and pour their heart out. I sometimes may not be connected to it at all, but they pour their heart to me, and at that particular time I ask myself this question: what is it that they need from me at this particular moment? They need that empathy, they need that moral support from me, they need me to tell them it's fine, it's all right, it will happen, it has happened, let's give it a little time and then things would settle. So they are looking at that empathy at that particular moment, and that is very important. Why it works? Yes, it is, you should be able to respond in a way that meets their emotional needs, that increases the trust, and then that helps them to connect with you a little more deeply. Empathy is not just about understanding other people's emotions, it is about understanding what drives their emotions and needs. That is said by Mark Brackett. Actionable tip is, in a conversation, consciously try to map out the other person's thoughts. What is the other person feeling? What are the other person's motivations? Ask yourself this question: what are they thinking? What is their body language telling me? And what do they need right now? See, we may not be able to fulfill their needs in terms, they may have financial needs, they may have emotional needs. So we may not be able to fulfill all those needs, but somewhere as human beings we may be able to fulfill that little void of empathy which is missing, that little tap on the shoulder to tell them that things would be fine. So that empathy mapping is very important when it comes to your emotional intelligence. Gratitude journaling. How many of you, you can just say, ma'am, it's me, though I may not be able to see who it is. Gratitude journaling. How many of you write down all the good things that you have in your life? If you can reflect and think at the end of the day, write down in a diary as to what are the good things that happened to me today. I'm only talking about the good things. I'm not talking about journaling the whole day. I'm not talking about keeping a record of the whole day. I'm talking about all the blessings that you have in your life. Have you been able to stop by sometime and put those blessings down in a diary? Because that boosts your emotional agility. Think about things that you have and others don't have. If you can jot that down at the end of the day, I do that at the end of every day. All every good thing that has happened to me, starting from something that was difficult for me in the morning, but then it became easy because somebody helped me out, or for that matter somebody who made me smile, somebody who gave me a chocolate, somebody who gave me a compliment. Gratitude journaling is thinking about the day, thinking about whatever is there in your life, and putting it down, because that helps to remind you that where you are. It helps to remind you on all the positive things that you have in your life, like joy, pride, love, and you will be able to attract all of that in your life. So your thoughts become things. So if you start thinking about all the good things that you have in your life, you will
Wala,
continue to attract them
paper
in your
ಸಿಕ್ಕೈತಂತ.
life. Please mute
ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಕಾಲ್
yourselves.
ಮಾಡ ಅವನಿಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅವ್ನ್ ನಾಗದೇಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕೈತಂತ, ಯಾರೋ ನಿಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ IIBS ಕಾಲೇಜಾಗ. ಕೇಳು ಅಭಿ ಬಾಳ ಟಫ್ ಐತಂತ ಅಂತಂದು.
Now see, I need to uh,
ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಎರಡು
Abhishek,
ಸಿಕ್ಕೈತಂತ.
mute yourself.
ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನ, ರಘು ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ನ ಅವ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಹೆಸರೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಸರು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ನೋಡು.
Yeah. So that is the gratitude journaling. I was talking to you about the gratitude journaling. Train yourself to focus on the positive emotions. Think of all the positive emotions that you feel in your life, that will help you to quickly change, rather than stressing on the chaos that is there in the life. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. So start thinking about all your blessings. You will not ask for more. You will feel self contented at this particular time. If you ask me, ma'am, what is it that you want in your life? I'm a self-contented person. I have everything. I have everything. I do not want anything more than what I have at the moment, because I am blessed to have a peaceful life. I'm blessed to have all that I need to run a life, to run a daily life. So the gratitude helps me understand that I do not want anything more than this. So, what is the actionable tip at the end of each day? You can write down three positive emotional experiences that you've had. You can describe them in detail. You can talk about how you have felt that day, how it has impacted your behavior, and how it is strengthening you on a daily basis. Whether it is joy, whether it is pride, whether it is love, whether it is a compliment, whether it is friendship. Put all of that down in a day and say, this made me feel good today, and that will add to your emotional intelligence. The emotional labeling technique for emotional mastery. So, this is whenever you feel a strong emotion, try to label it out in your mind. I am feeling frustrated today because I have too much of work to do. I'm feeling anxious today because I have an exam tomorrow. Try to label that emotion out. I'm feeling a little tired today because I woke up too early in the morning. I'm feeling sleepy today because I did not sleep enough last night. Label out that emotion, and you will be able to master the emotions. You will allow yourself, and you will not get overwhelmed. You will be able to emotionally regulate yourself, and you will understand why whatever is happening to you. When you put your feelings into words, you will bring back yourself to a calm and a more balanced state. You'll understand, that's the self awareness. Why am I emotionally labeling myself? Because I need to understand why this is happening to me. So in the morning, I think I did emotionally label myself, why I was feeling a little drained and tired, and I said, why am I feeling so tired today? Because I have too many things to do today. I had too many things to do today. And now, yes, when I understood that I had too many things to do today, I kind of broke them down into smaller portions, prioritizing them, which is most important, so that it does not overwhelm me, so that it does not bog me down, so that it does not tire me out. And then I am ready, and I am all set to do all those little things, and I'm to do it with excellence. So that's very, very important. One actionable tip for that is practice labeling your emotions throughout the day. I'm feeling anxious because I have too much on my plate, and you will be able to navigate that emotion more consciously. So, we are still doing the emotional intelligence portion of it. Self compassion. Self compassion is treat yourself with love. You don't have to wait for your dad to give you a treat. You do not have to wait for your friend to buy you a gift. You do not have to wait for all your friends to come together, give you a pat and say, Shazia, you did very well, yeah, come, we'll go out for a treat. No. Self compassion for your emotional growth. Treat yourself with love, treat yourself with kindness. You do not have to punish yourself when you make a mistake. That is learning for you. So treat yourself with kindness and love. So practice compassion by treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding when you would that you would give to your friend if your friend is having a tough time, and that will help you to have a growth mindset, and that will help you emotionally. It will make you a better person emotionally. Be kind to yourself fosters a more balanced emotional state. You'll be able to handle your setbacks and challenges without being overly critical, and it encourages you to bounce back faster from failure. If I make a mistake, Shazia, it's okay. You're a human being, you can make mistakes. I would not go and punish myself and punch my I would not close my fist and punch that fist into the wall because I made a mistake. Or for that matter, I would not slap myself for it because I made a mistake. Self compassion is where I treat myself with kindness, talk to myself that it's okay, it's a learning experience, I can definitely do better. Self compassion is simply giving the same kindness to ourselves that we would give to others. When you make a mistake or you experience a setback, instead of beating yourself up, say it's okay, it's learning, you're improving every day, and this will give you the emotional strength and an opportunity to grow. So at this particular point, again, could I confirm if you are listening and you are with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
moving into, yeah, we are moving into building resilience. Building resilience is the ability to bounce back. Every time you overcome a challenge, every time you overcome a setback, you have to bounce back. Life is not a bed of roses. Life is not going to be easy. Life is going to give you uh, life is like a storm, all right, and in that storm, when there will be a time when the storms stops, and then you will see that everything is like spring. You will have flowers and everything blooming around you, and then the season would change, and when the season changes, you should be ready for it. So that's how life is. You're not always going to have spring. You're not always going to have a beautiful summer. You may have the chills when the winter comes in. You may have the autumn, when you would see the dry leaves, when you would feel that there is nothing in life. There is nothing to appreciate in life. There will be a phase where you would feel that life is not giving you anything but dry leaves. But then there would be a time when everything would be in full bloom, and you would feel that life is very, very beautiful. So you should be able to handle all these phases of life. And for that, you will have to ensure that you have those. The power of incremental progress. The power of incremental progress is where you are aiming for small improvements. You need not need 1% improvement. Do not look at after you take medicine. Sometimes after I go and meet my doctor, after I take my medicine, my parents would ask me, how much of improvement do you think you can notice? Maybe in the first day I may say 50%, I've improved 50%. The second day I may say 70%. The third day I may say 90%. Fourth day I may say I'm completely all right. But then when it comes to your life, focus on 1% improvements. Make small improvements, and then you would can try making the large scale successes, the large scale achievements. All right. So why it works is big challenges can be very, very overwhelming. So that is where I'm asking you to break them down into small tasks. If you break them down into smaller tasks, that you will be able to achieve it faster. And then smaller things, when you achieve, it gives you motivation. Oh, I finished this. I finished this. Let me look at the second task. You'll finish that. Let me look at the third task. All small tasks. When you complete the small tasks, you feel victorious. You feel nice, and you feel like a winner. And that gives you motivation. And then you move on to the next task. So success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. To build a house, you'll start laying the bricks, then you'll cement it, then you'll put the bricks one over the other. So you suddenly so it's that 1% improvement that you're looking at. You cannot look at the big thing. To achieve that big thing, you break it down into small goals, and then you achieve it. So divide your large goals into bite-sized steps. Instead of focusing on reaching the top, take one step at a time. Don't look at the full staircase. Don't look at the full staircase. Look at the first step that is there in front of you. So when you finish that, you can move on to the second step. When you reach the second step, you can move on to the third, and likewise, it will take you a little time till you go up the stairs. So that is the power of incremental progress. The focus on the 1%. Emotional detox. Emotional detox is this is very important. Whatever has happened in the past, forget it. Forget it. You can either write it somewhere and keep it, write it and then maybe tear it off. All right. So that is emotional detox. Emotional detox is where you completely forget all the unpleasant memories of your life, and you do not allow those unpleasant memories of your life to come back into your life. Even when people try to remind you about it, tell them that I have forgotten about it and I may not want to discuss it. I've done that i've done that There are quite a number of things that would have happened in the past. I don't remember them completely right now because I've done an emotional detox. Sometimes yeah, everybody's got a story. Everybody has a story, but then I do not carry that emotional luggage along with me that could hamper my life ahead, the life that I have ahead, the goals that I have ahead in life, I ensure that the emotional detox is done, where I have refreshed my mind. A deliberate emotional detox will refresh your mind. It will make your decision making much more clearer. You will be able to bounce back, and you leave everything in the past. You don't carry it along with you in the future. And that is baggage. That is baggage which you drop, and then that is baggage which is not necessary and which you will not carry in your journey in life. So the emotional body stores our emotional residue. Let go of it. When you let go of it, you will get your emotional freedom, and you will also get your mental freedom. You will feel free. You'll feel relaxed. You'll feel light. So that emotional detox is very, very important. How do you do it? All your pent up emotions, all right, all your pent up emotions. It could be frustration, it could be failures, it could be love failures, it could be relationships that have not worked, it could be things that have not worked in your life in terms of your successes. You had planned for something, it would not have worked in the right way. Leave all that out, release those pent up emotions, go for a jog, do the deep breathing, that emotional detox. If you do, there will come a time when people will remind you about it. You will say, oh, this has happened in my life, I don't remember it right now. So you should be able to bring yourself to that situation where you've already done an emotional detox, to move those setbacks and move ahead in life. The postmortem analysis. You know what a postmortem is? So when you know what a postmortem is, the postmortem analysis is done to learn from failure. Why didn't something work out? Why didn't something work out? You are learning from that failure. So whenever you've had a setback, whenever you have failed at something, do a postmortem analysis to understand what went wrong. This will give you an insight into what did not go right for you, and then you will not make that mistake again. So the postmortem is very, very important. Why something didn't work for you, you'll be able to make that adjustment. You will not repeat the same mistake. You will allow your emotions to, you will let your emotions free, and then that you will not have a very clouded judgment. Failure is an event, it is not a person. Learn from failure, don't let failure define you. Let me tell you, learn from your failures, but don't let failure define you. You and I are not failures. All right. We should not allow failure to define us. Failure is not a person's definition, it is just an event which has happened in our life. So after facing a setback, ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I have done differently? And what could I do to improve in the future? So do that post-mortem analysis, and then that will definitely help you um, overcome challenges, and you will be able to understand what your setbacks are. Use the 10-10-10 rule for perspective. These are all these small little things that I'm telling you, so that you evolve as a person. Use the 10-10-10 rule for perspective. If there is something that happens in your life, don't go shut yourself in that room and cry for hours together. Something has happened in your life, you go and cry for 10 hours together about it. Think about it. In the next 10 minutes, what impact can it have on me? In the next 10 months, what impact can it have upon me? In the next 10 years, what impact can it have upon me? Whatever happens in your life, it's a very temporary event. 10 years down the road, nobody will remember about it. 10 months down the road, there will be very few who will remember about it. Or 10 minutes after it has after it has happened, the impact is a little lesser. So use the 10-10-10 rule for perspective. How will I feel about the setback in 10 minutes? You will definitely feel a little, at that particular moment you feel a little very upset. In 10 minutes you will feel a little better. In 10 months you feel definitely better, and in 10 years you would have already forgotten about it. So don't let those setbacks, don't let those failures affect you in such a way that you carry that in your mind for a very, very long time. Don't sweat the small stuff, it's all small stuff. Anything that is small and trivial, don't worry about it. Don't take tension about it. Let it go. It has happened. If it has happened, it has happened. You can't do anything about it. So don't keep thinking about it, because I would like to tell you that these are all small things. You'll have to think about. You have a all these challenges are very temporary. You have a long way to go. You have a big life in front of you. So all these things should not bog you off. So that is the 10-10-10 rule for your perspective. Cultivate the growth mindset to see setbacks as opportunities. So what should you do? You should have a mindset. Somebody had written mindset. What is personality? You had written that personality is mindset. So ensure that you have a growth mindset where you learn from your obstacles, you learn from your failures, and you believe in your abilities. You believe that, like I believe that tomorrow is a new day for me. Tomorrow is another new day, and I may want to be a better person tomorrow. That is a growth mindset that I have. I do not think that I know enough. I have a lot to learn tomorrow, a lot to read up for tomorrow. So all your challenges, look at all your challenges as learning opportunities. You need to be persistent. You need to ensure that you have great problem solving skills. It's not that I am so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. So, you know do not think that yes, it's done today, it's all over today. You are looking at yourself, you're preparing yourself for a tomorrow, you're preparing yourself for a better day. So use the opportunity to grow, use the opportunity to improve, and use the opportunity to learn something new, rather than feeling defeated, rather than feeling that life is a challenge and it cannot be taken up in the right spirit. So that was the other portion of resilience, or facing challenges and setbacks, that I did for you. Please confirm that you're with me so that I will take you through time management. I may need another 10 minutes to finish the session. So, class, are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. So, is it making sense? Are you able to relate, connect, and are you able to see how much of work we have in the long run when it comes to our lives?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Okay. So let's look at time management. Why do we say we all of us complain that we have 24 hours and those 24 hours are not enough for us? Why do we complain like that? Why do we complain like that? If you get
Because we have lot of work to do.
Because we have a lot of work to do. They always say that even the prime minister has 24 hours, but then he takes care of the country. We have 24 hours and we're not able to take care of ourselves. Maybe the prime minister also says that yes, 24 hours is not enough for him to take care of the country. But then what happens is time management is not managing time. Time management, I don't call it time management, I call it self management. I'm not able to manage the time. If I turn around and look at the clock right now, all right, look, if I look at the clock right now, it is about 6:24. All right, it's about 6:24. I cannot make it run faster, I cannot make it run slower. But definitely I need to manage myself in such a way that I now like I have another 5 minutes to go. All right, and then yes, the content on my presentation is a little heavy. I have a lot to talk to you about, but then I can crunch it down in the next 5-10 minutes. I will crunch it down and bring it to a place where we can wind it up in the next 10 minutes. But then I should be able to manage myself. When we're talking about time management and we say that 24 hours is not enough, I'm not able to manage myself. I'm not able to manage my work. I am not able to understand a lot of things which are there in my life. I'm not able to prioritize. I do not know what is more important. I do not know what is less important. I'm doing the less important things first, and that is why I fail to do the more important things first. And they come onto my table and say, "Shazia, pick me up and finish me first." So that's the challenge, or that's the trouble that I have. That probably I may have if I say I do not have enough time in my life. It's not about time. It's about your energy. The energy audit is check they come to check, when they do a tax audit, they come to do an audit. They come and they check whether to see whether all your tax documents are in place. So an audit is when they come to do a check. All right, they come to do a check to see whether everything is in place. You have to do an energy audit. When I learned about the energy audit, I started the energy audit in my life, and I've realized that I am this I know from a very long time. When I was in school, I could study. I would come back, suppose school, college, I would come back by around 4 o'clock. I would have tea, and then I would sit to study by around 6 o'clock. 6 to 8 o'clock, I would study. Okay, 2 hours I would study. 8 o'clock, I would break for dinner. 8 to 8:30, I would have my dinner. I was very studious. 8:30 to then maybe I would sit at around 9 o'clock again, after watching a little television, a little here and there with family, etc. I would sit at 9 o'clock again, and then I would study for another 2 hours, where I would study till 11 o'clock. So 6 to 8 I have studied, 9 to 11 I have studied. After 11 o'clock, I could never study. I would close the book. So that was my energy. Those were my energy levels. Even now, I cannot work after 11 o'clock. I can maybe get up a little early in the morning and start working again. But after 11 o'clock, I'm completely drained. My energy levels are very, very low. So I need to understand, when am I most active? So if you give me work after 11 o'clock and say, do it, you have to submit it tomorrow morning, I would prefer to go to bed and then get up a little early by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and work at it, rather than sitting and working at it at 11 o'clock, where I would be it would just be half an hour's work, but I would be using more than half an hour to finish that work, because my energy levels are very, very low. So I need to manage my energy and not my time. So instead of focusing purely on time, conduct an energy audit of your day. Track and see when you are most energized, when do you experience mental fatigue, and align your tasks accordingly. So if I have to write something, when I say write something, if I have to write a content, if I have to write an article, I can do that only after dinner. I can do that between after dinner is 8 o'clock. If I have to write something, I can do that only after dinner. So I'm very energized after dinner to think. So I can write from 8 to 11. After 11 o'clock, again, I'm completely no energy at all. So in those 3 hours, I'm most energized to write an article between 8 to 11. So before that, if you give it to me, I may say I need my food to sit back and get that energy, my proteins from the food, and then think about what I want to write, etc., and write. Why it works? Because most of the times, there could be times where we feel low energy. At that particular time, we are less productive, we are less creative. So each one of us, we have a very different rhythm. We are When it comes to our efficiency, we are very, very we are efficient at different times of the day. And then I'm sure there are people who are very energetic in the night. All right, they will be able to work after 10, 11 o'clock, and then they can work till early morning. Their energy levels are very, very high after dinner, after 11 o'clock, after 10 o'clock. So those people are, we can call them owls. They can stay awake whole night, and they can finish work, they can read up for the next day's exam, they can finish presentations, they can do so much when the entire world is sleeping. So our energies are different, our natural rhythms are different, so we need to manage our energy and not the time. So it's not the time, but the energy you bring to the time, that makes all the difference. That's what I want to tell you about. Track your energy levels throughout the day for a week. Identify when you are at your peak, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, and schedule your most important and mentally demanding tasks during those periods. So, like I told you, I just told you when is it that I am most active. I just gave you a little uh, clue about what I can do when. So, that is the energy audit that I have created or I have done for myself. The next one is the 2 minute rule for instant progress. The 2 minute rule is, if you have a task that takes you less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This will help you progress faster. You'll be able to finish the smaller tasks, and that will reduce the mental clutter. Small tasks, when you finish small tasks, when you have too many of small tasks, that will create a lot of distractions. So tackle them immediately. That will help you to overcome mental fatigue, and that will increase your productivity. Anything that is a 2 minute task, finish it off. Don't keep piling them up. If something can be done in 2 minutes or less, do it now. That's what David Allen says in Getting Things Done. And as soon as a small task comes up, like replying to an email or scheduling an appointment, do it right away instead of putting it off. So, in the time management, I taught you two things, which is the 2 minute rule and the energy audit that you could do. And yes, there is a little bit on networking. There is, I've touched on the goals as such. I have touched on the goal. The networking will take a little time. The personal branding, I did have a little bit on personal branding. But then, all that I can, since, I'm almost coming to the end of my 1.5 hours, I have a lot of content that needs to be discussed with you. The 1.5 hours, like I told you, is not enough to do a complete personality development session. So I will leave you with, if I have to go back and say, what is the actionable takeaway for today, I would say it is the GROW acronym for personal and professional development. What does GROW stand for? GROW stands for goal setting. All right, GROW. The G stands for goal setting. Set clear, measurable goals for both your personal and professional growth. Break your goals into smaller, achievable steps. Write your goals down on a daily basis and track the progress regularly. So that is where the G comes. The R is resilience. You have to bounce back. You have to bounce back and face your challenges. Um, there is no other option. You have to embrace your challenges. You have to see your setbacks as opportunities that will help you to learn and grow. Resilience is the key, where you will be able to overcome obstacles and you will stay on track. Reflect on your past setbacks, identify lessons that have helped you to move forward. O is the others, where you take care of networking and relationships. Networking is that little portion where you network through your social media, you network through LinkedIn, you network even when you don't have social media. You can network when you talk to people, when you go for meetings, when you attend conferences. So there are very different ways in which you can network and build relationships. Build strong relationships and a network that will help you to learn, that will help you to grow, and that will help you to succeed. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and challenge you. Reach out to at least one person this week to build a new connection. What is it that you need to do to build a new person, to build a new connection? Reach out to at least one person and build that connect. Well-being, the W is the well-being. Ensure that you take care of your emotional intelligence and you take care of the time management. I've given you small tips on how you can manage your time. Do the energy audit and ensure that you are good when it comes to your overall health, etc. Prioritize your well-being, manage your time effectively, develop emotional intelligence. Self-care is definitely important for your growth and success. Allocate time each for each of these things and ensure that you manage your stress. So that is what is grow for us today. And yes, the next slide here again. I have spoken so much. I started with Steve Jobs. I went on to talk about Oprah Winfrey. The third person I spoke about was Warren Buffett. Each of them, they had their challenges. They have their success stories. They are all developed personally. We have used their examples. We've used their examples for a session like personality development. And maybe at the end of the session, I may want to share a success story that happened to me recently. I was nominated for the South Indian Women Achievers Award. And this I received on December 22nd. That was That was last week. I received this award for the outstanding influencer in South India, and yeah, that is me receiving the award there. And here again, like I told you, my journey is does not end here. I have received the award, and I tell you that we may develop ourselves personally. We I may not stop there because I've got the award and I say my life is done, and then I have been I've been able to influence so many people that I am an outstanding influencer today. But then I'm very touched, or rather, I always use these lines from Robert Frost's poem "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening." I say the woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Life is definitely lovely. It also has. I've also had dark, rough patches. I've also gone through phases which have been very challenging. I face the ups and downs of life, but then I have a lot of promises. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have a long way to go. And when I say I have miles to go before I sleep, and I have miles to go before I sleep, I have quite a lot to achieve before I meet my end in the world. So, just as I'm doing a session for you on personality development, and I'm telling you that this is how you develop your personality, this is one little lesson for me, which reminds me that Shazia, your personality is also not completely developed. You have a new day tomorrow. You have a new moment the minute I finish this session with you. And then I continue to work on my personality. I continue to develop my personality so that I continue to inspire, empower, and transform people around me. So, with that, I'd like to end my today's session, and I would want to go back to all of you to ask you if you have any questions. If you have any questions, if you would like to uh, ask me anything with regard to today's session.
No, ma'am. It's been a lovely class.
Oh, you're welcome. If it was a lovely class, I'm glad. Because yes, Kainat Fatima says, because we don't know to manage time, we don't have proper schedules, targets, there are no timetables. Why do you want to? Gaurav wanted to skip the class. Yes, I've just given you what 1%, not even 1% of my inspiring story. All right, it is a huge big story that started off sometime very early. I have about 21 years in training and development right now. So when if I have to tell you my story, I will need a lot of such classes. Yeah. All right. Mm, I'm just trying to look at those responses there. Okay, I hope it was good for a 90-minute session. It's a little sad that I could not do the networking portion for you. How can you network effectively? You need to have a LinkedIn profile. You need to have if you have an Instagram profile, you're not always connecting and you're not showing people what you're doing, but then you're networking. You are promoting your product. You're promoting yourself. So I have a Facebook account where I don't put my personal stories there. I talk about what I do professionally. So uh, or for that matter, even if I have an Instagram account also, I may have two accounts. One is a professional account and one is a personal account. My personal account could be my stories, my family, whatever I'm doing there, my little social circles, etc. But if I have a professional Instagram account, there I may want to put information about the session that I did for you today, maybe information about the award that I got recently, things like that. So that could be a different account where I am using that for professional basis, for professional purposes, etc. Yeah. So yes, thank you very much for being a very patient audience and for for again, I would like to thank EdiGlobe for giving me this opportunity to connect with all of you. I would love to be connected with you sometime again in the future. And uh, thank you, Alfia. Thank you for telling me that you love the way I teach you. Everything was crystal clear. I'm still not very happy because I could not touch upon the networking portion of it. Yes, if you say EdiGlobe is the best platform for learning, kudos to EdiGlobe for this wonderful opportunity that it gives to all people around so that they can learn, transform, and upgrade and upskill. Thank you very, very much. Yes, people, I will leave you with this message that do well in life, grow, keep the learning curve on, and life will be beautiful. Ensure that you make life beautiful for yourselves, and you are responsible for everything that you do in your life. If it is if you are successful, good for you. If you face failures, those are stepping stones. You learn from those failures and you keep moving ahead in life. So thank you very much, and God bless. Have a good evening, and then a very happy new year, because we are almost on the 29th. Let the new year bring you lots and lots of success, prosperity, joy, and good things that await you. Thank you, everybody.